What up? What up? Ladies and gentlemen, we back.
We back.
Another episode.
Yeah.
9?
Episode 9.
Episode 9. It's the Wrap Up Podcast. How you feeling, brother?
Holding on, man. Just left the factory.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
clocking in, clocking out.
Yep, just cold chilling.
I dig it. And man, so finally the season is kicked off. We finally got something to do. My baseball team out. So I wasn't watching no baseball anyway.
Our baseball team out.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
Right. Our baseball team is out. True. I'll share that with you. So I mean, we still watching the Bears, but now we got some basketball to go to.
That's right.
I am more than excited. We ain't gonna give y'all another dose of the NBA this year, but this episode. But still had to talk about that for a second. I am glad the NBA is back, man. We'll see how our predictions come through. And we got the game on right now. New Orleans playing the Rockets. We'll see how that one shake out. But today we gonna talk about I guess you can say I don't want to classify it as light skin versus dark skin, because that's I guess that's a part of the problem, you could say. So how would you want to classify this? I guess complexion issues.
That's even worse.
Complexity. How you want to say this?
Paper bag them.
That's it. That's how we want to address this.
No.
The paper bag theory.
No, let's keep it simple. We'll just keep it like that. Light skin versus dark skin.
Light skin versus dark skin. All
Complexions
right.
in the hood, if you will.
Okay. All right. So man,
loose title.
Loosely titled. To be determined.
Yeah.
I guess we'll figure it out by the end of this segment, by the end of the episode, man. I guess we'll try to nail down the title, but
TBD.
Yeah, TBD. That's what we calling it 2 minutes in. But yeah, man. So I just wanted to get your take on how it affects us as a black community. Do you see that it pits us against each other? Is it still a thing? Is this still an issue? I know, you check out social media and, the ongoings of black Twitter and the internet.
Yeah.
You see a lot of jokes being poked at it and things like that. And, it's all for fun. You get a couple of chuckles and laughs out of it. But is it still a real significant underlying issue in the black community? Do you feel like this is still something that we have to deal with?
Yeah, I think we do, because if we didn't, we wouldn't see so many posts saying my melanin is popping.
I dig it.
If it wasn't an issue, we wouldn't be embracing the entire. If we were to go back to February, we did Wakanda Forever. Even though it was for the whole African experience, the black experience, it was a coloration thing. If you actually think deeper into it, love black, think black.
Yeah, buy black.
Absolutely, buy black.
Yeah,
buy black. So it's one of those things that's embedded in your mind subconsciously. Mm-hmm. You may not think that you do it, but let me just put it this way: growing up like I'm an old man, but I'm gonna say within my formative years, my years of when I was trying to find what it is that I liked and what I was looking for.
Yeah.
The only chicks that I was attracted to were light skinned with curly hair.
Okay.
And as I got older, I was looking around at my surroundings, but that's all I saw on the music videos, rap videos, was light skinned, curly hair, A. Marie types, if you will.
Okay.
So then, as I got older,
I wonder where she at. But
she making money, man. She do the EDM stuff overseas, man. So she's still doing the thing, and she write books.
Okay, what kind of books?
Children books, fantasy books, things like that.
So totally off topic. Yeah, but that's dope. Okay.
The more you know.
There you go.
So
this guy.
So that's and that's a dark, and I believe that's a dark skinned brother thing where we are. You can't speak on this, but we.
I can't. You're right.
But we oftentimes find ourselves liking the lighter skinned woman. Mm-hmm. And subconsciously, I think it's that because of our skin tone. Whereas if you were to look generally at light-skinned women, who are they usually talking to? Dark-skinned cats.
Yeah, I
you know, that. So we may not feel that way. That may just be who you're attracted to. But if we were to go back to when we were Middle Passage in here and the diaspora, all that jazz. If we were to go deep inside that entire root of our culture, dark skin wasn't beautiful, so we wanted someone light.
Yeah.
Light skin couldn't get by, and they were ridiculed because they were light, so they wanted to be darker.
Yeah.
So now we're so many centuries removed from that, and we're subconsciously still doing the same thing.
I got you.
To an extent.
I feel you. I will say that I think the issue or the notion that the light skin and dark skin is still pitted against each other is more prevalent in the female gender.
Okay.
I not saying that it's not an issue for guys. You just brought up a fact that that's how you perceive things when you were younger, and then as you matured and you came into your own, you kind of those views change.
Yeah, I want a bliggity biggity black Mau chick. Man.
I just wanted to cook.
Oh, you back on that?
I'm back on that. You see, I tied the last episode back into the
Oh,
So no, but I think it's more prevalent with women. I think we see it more with women pitted against each other with the light versus dark, or more fair-skinned women may get a job over a dark-skinned woman, not necessarily based upon the qualifications, things like that. I see that more. I see it affecting the women more than it does the guys. Not saying that it doesn't affect the guys. It very well could. Just being, I guess it also depends on what you are exposed to, the situations, the experiences that you have. But I see that in my opinion, and just things, just living everyday life. I hear the instances or situations come more so about for women. I've definitely spoken with women who felt darker women who felt like they were looked down upon, or they weren't given the same shake or the same fair opportunities. It wasn't a level playing field as it was for light-skinned women. So I think that it seems to impact women more, not only from a psychological aspect, but for it can also. I really think it can impact their psyche and their self-esteem. I've
okay. I can see where you going.
Just speaking with women and them giving me their take on the way that things have happened for them. They've definitely come out and said, okay, well, yeah, me being darker skin or me being brown skin, it's affected me in certain ways. Now, I think another common theme in that is it usually happens during adolescence. And as they've grown older, they've found different ways to look beyond that or maneuver through that, or be able to just be comfortable in their skin and say, hey, this is me. You got to accept me for who I am, what I am, and you like it or love it or leave it alone. So I think it's another thing that it affects us as adolescents or as preteens, and that's where we have to stop it from manifesting into a bigger issue.
Yeah, and it's just like the study. Was it Jane Elliott? Was that
Yes.
that did the study with the dolls? And the girls didn't like the dark skinned dolls because it wasn't what we epitomize as beauty. Right. So they went with the lighter skin or the white doll. Yeah. So I definitely can see that happening in terms of a woman's perspective. Now for men, I believe the darker you are, you winning.
Okay, I dig that.
The blacker you're black, you can't be black enough as a black man and win. I'm talking about in terms of if we were to look commercially with your videos, your models, it always has been a dark-skinned dude that's been kind of that, oh my goodness, look at the shininess of his skin, and it's been glamorized. Yeah, for sure. Whereas with the lighter-skinned men, and we're just talking about commercial and arts and entertainment right now. They were it for a minute. They were. We
had our season
for real. But then you all, I don't want to say you all, but light skinned men.
See how you pegging me as the light skinned guy?
Light skinned men became pretty.
I dig it.
Pretty, whereas with the dark skin color, it was a form of, not saying that light skinned men aren't masculine, but that dark skin has a different kind of ruggedness.
It had that machoism.
Yeah, that machismo, if you will.
Yeah. And the thing is it was also, it had a lot to do with the prominent figures of that time.
Absolutely.
If you look at it, that I would say the way that it was depicted, I would say it was like the 70s and I'd say even more closer to the 80s. When we talking about, like the darker skinned guys seem to be more rugged, more masculine, just like kind of scream testosterone, and then the light skinned guys was just more finesse, and it's like, oh well, he's pretty, let's put him on TV.
Yeah.
And that came from the DeBarges, the Michael Jacksons, the Princes, as to where the darker skinned guys, where it was masculine, a lot of them were in sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of them, like you look at Michael Jordan, you look at Lawrence Taylor, you look at some of those darker skinned guys who were prominent during that time. It was like, yo, he's dark skinned and he's masculine and he's on the football field. So those were constantly being intertwined or connected, as to say, okay, well, dark skinned dudes happen to be more masculine. And then you got Prince prancing around in a blouse, and Michael Jackson is grabbing his crotch, he got a glittery glove, and it kind of that's just the way it kind of shook out. And those, I'm not gonna say stereotypes, but those characteristics kind of they just kind of continued to stay on. They latched on to each other, and that's just kind of how it was, so that makes a lot of sense, and because that's what was being depicted at the time.
And picture, you don't have a light-skinned hero, if you will, in terms of film. Like, I can't think of one other than Bruce Leroy, and he only did one. Ty Mac, was that his name? Ty Mac. Yeah. But Wesley Snipes. Thank God for Wesley Snipes.
Superfly was light skinned though.
Yeah, but he was a pimp.
He was.
And he wasn't.
He was a hood superhero though.
Yeah.
I remember watching Superfly with my father, and I was like, this dude is amazing.
Yeah,
because my pops liked it, and I liked it, and I was like, this. He was like, "Hey, now boy, don't tell your mama. I'll let you watch this."
Okay, so let's put it this way: would you do Shaft or Superfly?
Superfly. Only Shaft was a good guy, and he still fought crime, and he was an actual hero. But Superfly, I just felt like he was cool. I
Shaft pulled women too.
He did. And Superfly was just, I just felt like that dude was, the way that he moved and maneuvered, I was like, man, that's a cool brother right there. Not that Shaft wasn't, but Shaft just felt so, I don't know. I guess you can kind of say I felt
Shaft
like
went
he was
to Africa.
He did. He did. Shaft was cold, man. Shaft was dope. But it's like, I don't know, the whole finesse behind Superfly, I thought was just it was ill, man. I always thought he was dope. And now that we thinking about it, I guess because you said superheroes, it kind of just brought it back to me. You know who was the anomaly in all of this?
Who?
Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
You can't get more masculine than being a boxing hero, and he was super light skinned.
But
but then
he talked that black.
He did. He definitely did. And it helped. It helped identify. And now I could go, of course, you could go through prominent black people and say, oh, man, I could name some masculine, light-skinned guys. Like you can say Malcolm X and Huey P. Newton. We can do that all day.
Yeah.
But, and then you're saying, on the flip side, right, yeah, we could do the same thing for dark-skinned guys.
Medgar.
Check you out. Go ahead, player.
Ralph.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like the issue, like you said, it predates all of that. It really goes back to when we first got brought over here involuntarily, and it turned into that, because the house slaves were of fairer skin, and usually they were of fairer skin because massa snuck in the hut,
Absolutely.
did his thing,
Absolutely.
and then the baby ended up coming in the house, and then the mama ended up coming in the house, and then that just ended up how it was being. So then I think that I'm not gonna say hatred, but it built a divide in between the slaves naturally, because okay, why are they better than me that they get to go in the house, or why did he pick her and then ended up having a baby? I think that's really where it all came from. And they never, I think they used that as fuel, and they meaning white people back then. I don't want to say that white people use that as a tool now, because I think that's casting judgment. You can't necessarily say that white people are using that as a tool. We can definitely go over some things that they still oppressing us with, but that's probably another episode. But I think that back then they definitely used that as a tool to be able to divide and conquer.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the best way to tear down black people is to create a divide within them and tear each other down. That's what they did with drugs. That's what they did with bombing Black Wall Street. And it's anytime that they can create a divide in between one of the strongest, or in my opinion, I'm gonna be biased, within the strongest culture on the face of this earth, that's the best way for them. That's their best tool or their best weapon to be able to bring us down. And I think that's what they were able to do when they created that divide. And it's just, I'm not gonna say it's manifested, because it's not nearly as bad now, but they found a way for it to still be prevalent in today's realm and in today's world. With the way that it can still be depicted, with black or darker skinned people being better or worse than a light skinned person. I still see, even with the memes that we have, it's still depicted as we're pitting ourselves against each other.
Absolutely.
When really we're all of the same blend. You know what I'm saying? You just happen to be a few shades darker or a few shades lighter. So I think that it's something that's just continued to manifest over centuries. They've continued to be able to find a way to keep that divide alive, so to speak.
But we have seen a shift, I would say, within the last, what's 2018 now? Within the last 30, 35 years or so, we've seen a shift in terms of more of a, I don't want to, because that's a horrible word, but more of a united front between us as black people.
I agree with that.
Whereas, even if we go back and go with Spike in School Days, how they went through the good and bad hair, and this stuff was it is real.
It's still real.
It's real. So it's one of those things that, like as you mentioned, it started back way before us. It'll still be here after us to an extent. But the way I like how we're controlling that particular narrative of what was presented in the past.
And I think that's the best thing that we can do, is find a way to gain control of something that was meant to break us apart anyway. So the same way with, and this might not be as great of an example, but yet and still it's a prevalent example, is what we use the N-word. The way that it was meant to tear us down, it was meant to set us back, and we tried to flip it and use it as a term of endearment. I feel like we've definitely done a much better job of being able to show that our skin, our culture, our being is just beautiful. And I feel like everybody now, we talk about being melanated, and we talk about being like the people of the sun, and saying like my skin is who I am, and I love being who I am. I love being the skin that I'm in.
Better, sweeter the juice.
Yeah, man, and I love the fact that we've done that, and I really think it's more so something that women have done a much better job of spearheading.
Yeah.
Because again, I think that's who it was targeted for in the first place. This weapon was targeted against women, and I think that it affects. Go into that. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Again, I very rarely hear guys say that, oh man, I was picked on for being light skinned when I was little, or I was picked on for being dark skinned when I was little. Not saying that it didn't happen, or them saying like, I felt real uncomfortable in my skin because I was darker and people made fun of me for being dark, or light skinned, whatever. But I get that a lot from women.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, I was really dark and they picked on me because
my hair was coarser.
Yeah. It's like I had they call me nappy headed dark black girl. And it was the other light skinned girls and their hair was long and it was curly, or it was it was straight. It was the
guys didn't talk to me. And,
things like that. Yeah. So I think that this weapon was used to be targeted towards creating a divide between women,
and that's dope that you would say that, because I agree with you 100%. But then if you think about it, let's just go within the last 10 years or so and look at ads. It was a big thing when Beyonce was lightened for the CoverGirl
Very true.
magazine.
Yeah, I remember.
You can't lighten Beyonce no more before she's gonna be albino. She's fairly light right now.
True.
So that's the mass of the population that buys.
Yeah.
Black men and men in general, we buy, but we don't buy at the clip women buy. Just look at your commercials that's dealing with any type of soap or lotion. You may have a thick black Nubian queen in one of the videos, but she's playing the ethnic role. She has the curls, and she
got the Bantu knots.
Yeah, she's bigger than the other women there. So it's representing all shades. So that started maybe within the last probably 5 years.
I dig that.
But the selling point to women that fairer skin, not just white, it can be Asian, but fairer skin is the epitome of beauty. I can see why women will still have that long-lasting effect in terms of that. And then the same for light-skinned people. We've went through points where the light-skinned women were they were pro black. They could recite the souls of black folks, because they were always ridiculed for not being black enough.
Angela Davis,
absolutely,
she talked about that a lot. And I think, again, I got to give props to our women of today, because I feel like they've done a much better job of noticing the issue that's still there and being able to flip it on its head and saying, like, you're not going to find a way to divide us any longer. Rihanna has done a fantastic job of being able to do this with the way that she creates her ads, just her whole like Fenty makeup line. One of the things that's really historic.
But did she light herself up too, folks? Did she have something going on where she lit herself up?
I don't know. She may have.
But I may be wrong, but I think she said something about that. She didn't know that happened.
Oh,
I may be off.
I don't know.
That sound like that
it could
popped
be
off.
One thing's for sure, though, is she is setting history with the amount of different shades of cosmetics that she has to be able to accommodate a vast, majority or variety of women. Now, I can't sit here and act like I know a whole ton about makeup, but to me, right there, that lets you know that if she thought out of the box enough to bring something like this to the forefront, that it's an issue for women. Because again, like you said, women are one of the main consumers out here. They're out here buying. When what they see, they buy. And what she's done is she's created an avenue or a way to say, hey, we're not just going to project one shade or one way that women should look or one shade of woman. She's trying to find a way, or not trying to find a way, she is finding a way to be able to show that, hey, all of these different shades of women are beautiful. And that's why I want to give props to the women of today for being able to find a way to silence that weapon that has been pitted against them centuries ago. I think that was dope.
And I know I keep harping on arts and entertainment, but that's what drives any culture.
Very true.
art and entertainment.
Yeah.
And while you were speaking about Rihanna, I was thinking quickly about how music changed, and now it's going back, I feel, to that light skin, long hair R&B singer. So remember when that was all that we saw in videos in terms of the lead singer was light skin, long hair, pretty.
Yeah.
Then we went to a phase where the sisters were dark skinned sisters was getting a lot of love. You know, we had the NDREs, the Macy Gray. You know, Michelle Indiacello came back for a little bit.
Okay.
But now, if you think about the music culture now, your top female stars, excluding Rihanna and Beyonce, LMA.
Yeah.
Light skin, her, light skin. So it's kind of
SZA got some. You know, she's dark skinned. She doing her thing right now.
Yeah, but they don't give her videos.
I dig it.
We hear her music.
Yeah.
But we not seeing no visuals. And she's a very, very pretty woman to me.
She is
very pretty.
And I'm glad you. You know what? One thing is, we as guys, you know, it was definitely put out there for us that it's like, you know, the light skinned woman, you know, the long hair, you know, that was what was depicted as, you know, like if you got you a light skinned woman, you good, or you know, like that's what you was looking for. When I was young, I never really had that. Not saying that I never dated a light skinned woman. That's I mean, I'm with a light skinned woman right now, but I never bright. Yeah, she's eggshell white. She gonna get mad at that,
but she got braids though, so it's fine. So she got box braids, so she good.
So, but my thing is I never felt like, oh man, I only wanted light skinned women, or you know, like that was the epitome of, you know, what I thought was beautiful, because I guess it was. My mother is dark skinned, so I guess that's why it never really was like that for me. But I always just thought that I never really felt that like it was being tailored to me to go get a light skinned woman until I got older, and then I was like, okay, well, why is this particular style of woman being pushed on me when there's so many beautiful dark skinned women out here? I never really felt that until I got older, as to where. You know, for younger dark skinned and light skinned girls, that was being projected on them at a very young age.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's another reason that it differs for men and women, even still now.
And just speaking for myself, you brought it when you were younger. That's what I saw growing up.
Yeah.
As beauty. So when you see that, when you look at commercials, TV shows.
That's consumerism again.
You see the dark skinned man with the Heathcliff and Claire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can go Dwayne Wayne and Whitley.
Yeah.
Then you can go Ron and Kim. You know,
Martin and Gina.
So that's what we see, because it's what's depicted as beautiful, and that's light skin.
Yeah.
And whenever you see a dark skinned woman on TV, one of my teachers in one of my African history classes in college brought up a dope point. She said that whenever you see a sitcom involving black people, the lead character, the guy, is going to be dark. The lead female is going to be light skinned, and she's going to have a dark skinned friend that the lead black guy and that supporting actress always go back and forth. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because you got Martin and Pam, Fred and Esther, light skin, dark skin. You got
Living Single.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Yep. What was that? Maxine and Kyle.
And they were both dark, but they went back and forth.
They went back and forth. Yeah. Yep. Wow. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yep. That's crazy. That's crazy. That, you know what? And that lets you know, just because we can continuously name all of these examples, that lets you know that this isn't just a coincidence. You know, this isn't just, oh man, you know, that's a 1 in a million shot. That's something that constantly is happening. And you even what's that show? It's escaping me now. But anyway, that's a ton of examples that we have there, and it's crazy that even still, through all of these avenues of art and consumerism that it's
My wife and kids, the first daughter, the second daughter.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. That they would. I'm not gonna keep saying they, but that it is continuously being, pointed out, and it's continuously being shoved upon us or being heaped upon us. That you know what? There's this constant battle in between the fairness of your skin.
Yeah, that because when she went through that blew my mind.
It just blew my mind now. I'm sitting here running through, my Rolodex of sitcoms and TV shows and movies, and I was like, yo, that's
And
crazy.
you can go back to even older movies where they did the same thing with I can't think of the name right now, but the Cabins in the Sky. They did the same thing. You can go to old Markham movies or old Stephen Feshett movies, and they did the same.
Don't it piss you off though that they would go this deep?
Yep.
They would go this deep. Psychological warfare here we talking about. That they would go this deep to try to create a divide in between our people. Mm-hmm. First of all, the only way that you would really go through such depths and lengths to try to divide a people is if you're truly afraid of what they're able to accomplish. Mm-hmm. If you are truly afraid of something, and you can find a way to overcome that fear, or if you can find a way to decimate that, the first thing that you're going to do is try to attack it. Mm-hmm. But if you're afraid, it's hard to just come straight out and attack it, right? So you find a way to divide. You find a way to sneak up on it. This is their way. This is their plan of being able to sneak up on it or attack, this culture. And it's really unsettling that you would have such a fear of someone or something that you would go through such lengths, and they haven't really even done anything to you. No. It's like what can you really say that's like that black people have done that's so bad that you want to divide us and kill us off, from the inside out. And
then it's so instilled and so ingrained that if we go back in the earlier times of let's go with the Harlem Renaissance era, that 20s, 30s, 40s era.
Yeah.
When we are now processing our hair to be more acceptable because we didn't like our curls or our kinks. Yeah. Where we had those that were the fairest of the skin, trying to pass as white or put on the mask to be white.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff is still, it runs deep. It runs deep. You may not see it as clearly as we can see now in retrospect, but it's still there.
It is.
It's still there. You turn on your TV right now, the blackest title on TV is Blackish. That's the blackest title on TV.
It is.
You got Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
His wife is very light. She's a great actress, though. I love Tracy Ellis.
Yeah.
Great, but she's light. The children are light bright. The grandparents are light bright. It's no one, enticingly dark.
Yeah.
On TV, if you look at it in that level.
The show that we was just, it was on the other day, and you was like, man, you need to be watching this. You like the only person who ain't watching.
Insecure.
Insecure. Yeah. She's dark. And that show is doing well. Mm-hmm. But I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And it's another thing that and just to backtrack a little bit, when you was talking about the 20s and the 30s and the Harlem Renaissance, Duke Ellington era and all of that.
Yeah.
With the cats straightening their hair. That's another thing that I want to bring up. I just want to keep giving props to our black women. With again another way that they're trying to devalue this weapon that this is really starting to do something for me. I'm glad we brought this topic up with the way that everything now about women's hair is natural. Yeah. They want to get back to natural. They want the kinks. They want the twists. They want the afros. They want the bantu knots and the braids. They want to be natural because we're getting away from the European weaves and so that's another way that black women are being able to show that, hey, we're not going to continue to accept this divide that you're trying to create.
And it's crazy because men have been telling, and I know I have been telling my significant others for the longest, you don't need
that. Oh my God! For the longest, it's like
you don't need it.
You don't need to rock no weave.
But it goes back subconsciously.
Yeah.
Like I was at work and I was talking to a young lady, and she said, "Oh, I got to get my hair done." I said, "Word." I'm like, "What you about to get?" So she said what she was about to get, and she was like, "I'm about to say what you about to get, that fresh pack." She was like, "Yeah, bundles 24." I'm like, you don't need.
Yeah.
But she need 24. She wants 24. So it goes back once again. I'm gonna keep saying it goes back. Long hair, graceful, flowing in the wind. If you got a fade and a part going through it, that's sexy to me.
If you could,
you can be bald like me and be sexy.
That's the thing. It's all about the way the woman carries herself. Absolutely. Now. So it's that prowess that she has is gonna make her sexy. Not even it's not necessarily what she has on her hair. On her head rather, but the way that she carries herself with that confidence that she exudes when she steps out the house.
It's that aura.
Yeah, man. And
that light, man.
That is one thing that I feel like is very looked over. But again, women are doing a very good job of being able to make sure that this is something that they could bring to the forefront. And it's like all up and down my timelines, they sharing all of these beauty tips and girl, what you put in your natural hair and all of this, and I think it's dope. It's just super dope that it's coming back around to say, like, you know what, this is in. Being black is in, and everybody is noticing it. Everybody wants to be a part of this beautiful culture and this beautiful movement. It was a famous model who and she's Caucasian, but she just posed as an African queen, and it just brought up such an uproar. It was like, yo, why couldn't you? I gotta find her name, but it's like, why couldn't you get a black actress to pose as an African queen? She had, African garb and a headdress, and she had African jewelry. And I'm not gonna front. Before I read the article, I looked at the actual pictures, and she still looked fly. She looked dope. But she literally looked like a black woman. They gave her brown skin. She had the makeup. She had the African headdress. She had the jewelry. She had, the African poses and all of that. And it looked good, but she looked black. Not saying that she wouldn't have looked good if she was white. I mean, because she's a model, so she was attractive. But the fact that even though they want to look down upon us, but we're constantly being mimicked. We are constantly being,
they're capitalizing on black. Black is hot.
Yeah.
Black has been hot for the last 15 years.
We need some copyright infringement. This is exactly what's going on right now.
That patent gonna stay pending forever.
Man, it is. But I mean, I just felt like, yo, the fact that this is happening now is just very eye-opening. It's very we got to be aware of all of the things that's going on, and a lot of these things are being either swept under the rug or just being kept out of the mainstream view. But we are constantly being depicted as not great and lesser than. But on the flip side, it's like, let's kind of copy what they're doing, because what they're doing is still fly, it's still fresh. This is still something that we want to be a part of.
And I just thought about this while you were talking. Driving into work today, I was listening to on the radio, and I knew what we were going to talk about, but I didn't really focus on it. But Drake has a song, and we both know someone that said this before. But Drake has a song when he say light skin with a dark skin heart. So if you think about if you think about the context of what he's saying, that's underlying self-hate. Yeah, you're light skinned, but you saying you move like a dark skinned cat. Are you saying dark skinned cats are mischievous? Dark skinned. Well, what are you pointing out? Your heart is dark skinned. Do that mean that it's hard, the exterior, nothing can break through it? What are you trying to say? Because a heart is a heart, and they break. So what's the difference between quote unquote light skin heart and a dark skin heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I thought about that, and I kind of was chuckling when I was driving because I've heard that in real life during the conversation. We both have. Yeah. And it was funny at the time, but once I digested what he was saying, I'm like, yo, he may not know it, and it may just sound fresh or fly to say.
Yeah.
But that's an underlying self-hate thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's very much so. Very much so. I'm glad you brought that up because it's what would you say? I mean, because obviously that's one with the dark skin. It's like, what are some more stereotypes of dark-skinned men and women that we need to break?
Oh, man, I live that every day as a dark-skinned male.
Talk about it, brother.
My personal belief, if you and I were in a car, you had your own car, I was in my car, I feel I would get pulled over before you do. Not because you wear spectacles, but because I'm dark-skinned.
Right.
But because I'm dark-skinned, I feel that if we were to walk into a restaurant or a store 3 minutes apart, if I'm in there first, that entire mode is different than if you were in there by yourself. Meaning that as a black man, we have to be guarded in general.
Yeah, for sure.
But then as a dark-skinned black man, we're looked at as, I don't want to say spooky, but we're looked at as no good.
Intimidating.
That's what I like to call it. Thank you for the word.
Intimidating.
We're looked at as intimidating. Me, my face already looks like don't talk to me. So you compound that with being 6'3" and over 270.
Yeah.
And kind of built, husky kind of.
Yeah.
I'm always getting pinned. But the remedy that I have that kind of subsides that is that I don't speak a certain way. You know, I don't dress or hold myself a certain way.
Yeah.
So it kind of, once the other culture speaks to me, for real, you can literally see the guard coming down in their eyes. Had the peace and the relax come down. You can view it.
Let me dig a little deeper though. So you said that you speak a different way and you dress a different way. So I know you, but everybody else may not. So first of all, you're a very articulate brother. You have you're well versed, very good vocabulary, very good vocabulary, I should say. Yeah, you know, and you're not always out here with like the hoodie on and like the goose down jacket. Your pants ain't sagging around.
We do
your ass,
own.
you know what
We
I'm saying?
do own. You've seen me in them.
I
own them.
Yes, of course. But but like you said, you dress a certain kind of way. So is that different? Do you speak differently? Not saying per situation, but have you trained yourself to speak differently and dress differently so you don't have to deal with that preconceived notion that you're the bad guy or that you're the thug that's walking down the street? Or is it something that you've always been?
You know what? I would say it's probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
One is growing up when your parents are dressing you, and when you're starting to be able to dress yourself, they're telling you how to present.
Yeah.
How to move, how to maneuver. Then as you get older and there's certain things that you're looking to achieve and certain things that you want out of life, you learn how to play the game. You develop your own manuscript. You develop your own playbook on how to play the game.
True.
Now, playing the game is dope. Playing the game is cool because, let's face it, we have to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only way you can survive.
But also, with me, it's self-awareness. I know what I like to be fly. Yeah. And to be fly doesn't consist on me wearing, I call it the tight jeans and the red belt with the buckle.
Right.
That's not fly to me.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm with you.
Fly to me is having my pants pulled up, a nice pair of boots on. But I can also give you jogging pants and Timbs. So it depends on how I'm feeling. So for me, it's more of being embedded as a younger male, and then two, growing up knowing who I am and what I am, and knowing what I want to represent and what I want to reflect.
I dig it.
I have baseball caps, I have hoodies,
right.
I got joggers, I got mics, I got all that stuff like everybody else.
Right.
But I know when and when not to.
I got you, and I think that's I like how you said you playing the game. You finding your way to maneuver throughout this world and avoid some of the unnecessary situations. You can't avoid them all. I mean, because let's face it, we black. It's going to happen. You live in this world long enough, you're going to face some of that ridicule, some of those, oppressions that they have.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but it's just on my mind. I was listening to the radio. Ricky Smiley today was talking about how they were talking about the kid that got that was in the mall, and he got hemmed up by the police officer.
Yeah, right.
So Ricky Smiley was talking about that, and he was talking about it with Jeff Johnson, and he was talking about how when his sons and his nephew started driving, he sat them down and he told them the game, of course, but he also equipped them with kind of like a tackle box of necessities. Like he said, he put a pair of non-prescription glasses in the car, and he wasn't joking, he was dead serious, that whenever you get in the car and drive, you put these glasses on. So now we're not looking intimidating. You're wearing glasses. He said,
luckily for me, my mom was blind, and I got that from her. So
as soon as you get in the car, you take your license out your wallet. He had a tray on the dashboard. You put your license in the tray, and when you get pulled over, you tell the officer where your license is, and is it okay for you to get your license? Yeah. So he said he had all of these things for his children. I was thinking, this was actually yesterday he said this, and I was like, man, we have to go through all of that just to make sure that we get home safe.
Yeah.
You have to fake wear glasses. And a lot of people may think that's extreme, but in today's climate, I don't think it's extreme at all.
It's not. It's not. Because when you think about it, you're going through great lengths to, like you said, make sure that you get home safe, and you're abiding by the law.
Yeah.
Why should you have... That's literally an inconvenience to you.
Absolutely.
To make sure that it can be convenient to your well-being. So it's like, when I get in the car, I'm not thinking about, okay, buckle up my seatbelt and I get to go. It's, you know what? No, this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hood off. I'm going to take off my baseball cap. I'm going to take my wallet out, like you said, put it in this tray. I'm going to put these glasses on.
Yep.
I'm not going to have my seat all the way back.
Yep.
I can't ride in the car with four of my friends.
Yep.
Even though we all going to the same place.
You can't play your favorite song the way you want to play it.
I can't play my music all the way up loud, because all of that is going to attract unnecessary attention. Even though I'm following all of the rules of the road.
Yep.
I got insurance. I got a valid driver's license. I'm not speeding. I ain't breaking no traffic laws. But because I'm black, I have to be consciously aware of my appearance and my friends' appearance.
I used to tell my friends growing up, you have some friends that weren't on the up and up, and you knew who they were.
Yeah.
They were always, hey Steph, can I get a ride to blah blah blah? And my mother still talk about it to this day, because I was a young cat, like 16. No one told me this, and I always would tell them, your pockets clean? Yeah. Oh man, hey, you can't get in my car if your pockets ain't clean. Now somebody else would have let them. You don't know what happened. God forbid anything happened to them at that time or anything like that. But me knowing who I am and what was instilled in me, and knowing just me, and just always, you know me for a while, I'm very observant. I observe a lot of stuff.
For sure.
So you can't get in my car if you packing. You can't have no pocket knife at 16 in my car.
Right.
Talking about take you to the corner store.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's a harsh way to live, but it's the actuality that we're living in.
Very much so. Because if we have so many stories that we've heard, and so many situations that we know, is that we do this out of necessity. Like you said, this is the only way that we know that we're going to be able to make it back home.
Yeah.
Because we got so many stories that we hear, that says, okay, well, here's the reason why he didn't make it home. Trayvon Martin didn't make it home because he had a hoodie on.
You know how often at 36 years old I adjust my seat when I'm driving?
Oh, bro, I don't sit. I can't sit with my seat back.
Sometimes it feels like I am on the steering wheel, man.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I probably subconsciously, I probably just get this from my father anyway. My father drives with his hand at the bottom of the steering wheel.
Me too.
But you know, when you're younger, it was cool to have your hand at the top of the steering wheel.
Yep.
And I just felt like I never want to drive like that because it's going to bring unnecessary attention. Why? Just because, you know what, man, I think it is. Black people in general just really look cool.
That's what it is.
We just
you can't turn off that flyness.
You can't turn it off. And I really can't. It's for lack of a better word or a better term, we really just exude swagger.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's that's just what it's the sauce.
You
know, we got that, and there's no way to turn it off. And some people are just naturally intimidated by that. So you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just drive with my hand at the bottom of the steering wheel. They not gonna. And I think it's a little bit of both. It's just because I don't want to be targeted, and I also saw my father do it. But you got to think like the different mannerisms, the different characteristics, the different ways that we carry ourselves and we go about our day are changed just because of the color of our skin.
Absolutely.
And that's tough, man. That's tough to deal with. But again, just to bring it all back full circle, I really am loving the way that we've found a way to be able to utilize this and say, you know what, I'm not going to let this tear me down. I'm not going to let this tear my brother down. I'm not going to let this tear my sister down. Let's try to find a way to make this work for us.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's super dope, man.
I agree.
That's super dope.
I agree.
So, man, it's
we can talk about this forever.
We could. But you know what I really want is I want to get other people's perspective. I want to get other people's things. What are some of the instances that you felt? What are some of the things that you felt like you had to deal with? What are some of the stereotypes that you feel like you had as a light-skinned man or woman or dark-skinned man or woman? What are some of the things that you've had to deal with, or some of the things that you still see today?
Yeah, and you know, a shout out to all of our subscribers. You know, we get new subscribers, you know, daily. So we thank you all for subscribing.
For the people,
please leave comments. If you got show ideas, you know, go to our Instagram page, leave a comment or something. We here for the people. Speaking
of show ideas, I done had a lot of people say, yo, man, I want to be a guest on the show, whatever. It's not something, I don't want y'all to think we're just blowing you off.
Yeah.
We just trying to make something work, you know, logistically, you know, we are going to make that happen. We're going to start incorporating some guests, man. So stay tuned. We're going to keep rocking out. We're going to keep bringing you some dope content. Y'all keep following us, man. We appreciate the love.
That's a bow.
Peace.